Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you guys can tell by the title, I will be diving into the video about advices on putting yourself first. This video honestly touches a part of me and it honestly means a lot to me. So I will be discussing it and I hope this advice can be useful for other girls or other people out there who really need that advice. I haven't posted a YouTube video in like 11 to 12 days. I've been busy with exams. I've been grinding, locking and studying. Exams are done. So let's get into it. I also did my hair. And yeah, anyways, let's get into the video. I've written my points down right here, so I'll be going over them. There's going to be about 6 to 8 points that I'll be addressing in this video, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. So putting yourself first is essentially being able to be in this, like in a mindset, in a space of your life where you prioritize your well-being. You prioritize your physical well-being. You prioritize your mental, your spiritual well-being, whether you believe in a higher power or not. And you put yourself at the front. So you prioritize yourself. You prioritize your choices. You prioritize your health. You prioritize your hobbies. You prioritize yourself in front of other things that you feel like may have come first. And obviously, like for me, a part of growing and really hitting that part where I feel like I'm in a shifting mindset is being able to put myself first despite their circumstances. Like I'm somebody who's grown to be, like, I was very used to uh prioritizing people, being a people pleaser, and obviously just making sure that everything was cordial with everyone, everything was cool. And I feel like once you enter that mindset that people are going to dislike you regardless of who you are, if you try to be a good person for them, you try to serve them, you try to be there for them, like people are going to dislike you if they want to dislike you. And it has nothing to do with you and prioritizing them, it has more to do with them, and it's a character flaw. And I just feel like for me, being in that mindset, like, it's, first of all, it's so freeing to really start putting yourself first, start prioritizing yourself. It really shines in the way you glow, in the way you present yourself, in the way you decide to navigate your life. So the first advice is the difference between self-respect and being selfish. I feel like, and it's even happened to me, like in a part of your life where you start really choosing yourself, making choices that are best for you, you're gonna get a lot of, oh my god, like you're becoming selfish, oh my god, you've changed, like, oh my god, like this is not the Val, or this is not the person that I know. And you need to start being comfortable with this narrative. You need to start getting in the headspace where this narrative, actually, you need to start wearing it like a glove. Because people are going to treat you as selfish, people are going to label you as selfish when they don't have access to you as when they used to. When you used to put everyone first, when you used to choose everyone before yourself, people are going to throw you that label of why you're selfish because they've lost that access to you. They've lost that dependency that they had on you without having to put any energy back. So that's when they start labeling you as selfish. And an example that I do have is, for example, sometimes when, like, my parents wouldn't have access to me as much as before, and I'm talking about, like, for example, like, oh, like when they felt like they lost a certain access, that I started realizing, especially living in an African home, and a lot of African children can relate to me, is that setting your boundaries doesn't exist. Having boundaries doesn't exist. And the sooner, you're either going to accept the fate that boundaries don't exist and you're going to get walked on, or you're going to accept that label of being selfish, of being disrespectful, of being this and that, and decide to put yourself first, of decide to set your boundaries. And that's something I started doing. I started speaking up and saying that I feel like my boundaries are being walked over. And I've been told many times that there's no such thing as boundaries and that I'm the child and things like that. But when you start really, even sometimes it can be the people closest to you, it can be family, and when you stop giving people that access, that advantage to you, you're gonna get all types of label. And I'm honestly so comfortable with the label of being selfish, like it doesn't bother me. I've chosen to put myself first. I feel like I've been in so many spaces where I've kept trying to practice other people, and that's never gonna get you anywhere. It's never ever gonna get you anywhere except sadness. You're gonna be torn mentally, sometimes physically. You're just going to, it's never gonna serve you. So the earlier you accept the fact that you're going to be under a dark label, but you're going to be happy within yourself, or you can choose to please people and maybe maintain that label of being somebody who's lovable and accessible to everyone. And putting yourself first is obviously sometimes pursuing things that sometimes it can feel like the entire world is against you. It can feel like every single person is against you. I didn't know it was something. Sorry, I just had to double check it was filming because I didn't remember pressing the button. But like from where I left off, I was saying that sometimes it feels like the entire world is against you, against what you want to pursue, against your dreams, against the things that you really want to go for. And sometimes you do have to accept that label of being delusional to choose what works for you. People are always like, there's a lot of people, and you can notice this in your everyday life, that are going to have the most to say about you. People are always going to be comfortable with with talking about their dreams, talking about their goals, but very few people are going to live with that uncomfortability of actually chasing that goal. And that's something that I've realized a lot, because I'm somebody who, I'm not afraid to restart. I'm not afraid to start from square one. I'm not afraid to go back again and again and again to chase what I love. And one thing that I've realized is that a lot of people are going to do a lot of talking about, about, oh my gosh, like I can pursue this, but only a few people are really going to put themselves in this uncomfortable shoes to really chase that dream. And while you chase your dreams, while there's something like when you want to, like I said, like when you want to chase something that you really love and something that you really want to succeed, it's never going to be a comfortable process. You're always going to be, sometimes it's even your own closest friends, your own closest family members that are going to label you as being delusional, as being too much, as being unrealistic. And you need to be able to take that leap of faith. You need to be able to put yourself in those very dirty, muddy shoes and to run and to be able to chase, because it really just takes the wrong comment to get to you. And that's about putting yourself first, putting what you dream of first, because what God has destined for you, or if you believe in a higher power above, or if you're more spiritual, whatever higher entity, for me, it's God. What God has destined to you, for you, nobody can destroy. And what God cannot do does not exist, and that is simple. So that's something that I personally relate with. Like, I have told some family members about some things and it was maybe a couple years back, some things that I want to achieve, some things that I want to do, some things that I love to do. And I've always been told that it's not going to be possible and it's unrealistic, and I've achieved these things, and now people are going to come back and switch up. And honestly, something else is, a lot of people have told me that it's impossible or it's not realistic to handle school, work, and track, and that I'm not going to be able to make it, and that something is going to suffer. And God has always given me that strength to be able to do all these things. All of these things are things that make me so happy. All these things are things that I love pursuing. And I'm not going to let that down just because I have a couple people who are limited with their mindsets that are telling me that I can't achieve it. And you shouldn't limit yourself too. You shouldn't limit yourself because of people around you who have already limited themselves. They're projecting themselves on you. People who don't see themselves pushing themselves past a certain limit, they definitely do not see you pushing yourself past that limit too. So you have to take that label of delusional, wear it across your chest, and go chase that dream. And something else about putting yourself first is the label of burning out from being too strong. Putting yourself first is also being able to take a rest. And that's something I had to learn the hard way as somebody who, I do a lot of things in my life. I'm chasing a lot of things. I have a lot of goals and things. Like, you need to be comfortable with taking rest, because it's not because you're working all the time, you're doing it harder, that you're doing it better. You need to be able to take a day off where you're just doing nothing. Take a couple hours while you're studying to just sit down and just take a little bit of rest, because burning out is not fun, especially when you're constantly trying to be at 100% every time. So as somebody who supports herself financially, who is trying to be responsible for myself, who had to navigate the financial world by myself, it wasn't taught to me, who had to obviously navigate the track world by myself with no guidance, starting from literally scratch, from zero. Somebody who was pushed into university that I didn't necessarily want to go to, but pushed into such a harsh world. It was hard for me to take a step back and be like, okay, like I actually need to rest because I'm going to kill myself, and it's a bit hard when you're first starting into it, but you have to learn how to take that rest, because being stronger is not necessarily doing things at 100% of the time, all of the time harder. It's just doing things smarter to be able to maximize how much you can give when you actually try to give that 100%. So that's something I really had to learn. Like when I study, I will do like study blocks of like 1 hour and 15 or 2 hours, and my breaks will be 15 minutes in between. And by the third study block, I'm just taxed and I can't study anymore. So sometimes what I would do instead, and trying to learn from the fact that sometimes resting is better, is I will do 1 hour 15, and then I'll do 15 minutes, and then I'll do 1 hour 15, and then I'll take like a 30-minute break to eat and to actually rest before I start my other study blocks. These are little things that help me save energy, and when I do come into that third study block, I'm not coming with like 20% left in my body. I'm coming with 100% recharged to study efficiently and to study well. Obviously, like being able to accept that sometimes resting from track is helping me be better. It doesn't mean that I'm getting weaker or anything. It just means that I need that time to rest to come back stronger. So yeah, like if you support yourself, and I know it's hard, but as somebody who's just constantly at 100 for all and trying to spread myself into a student, an athlete, and an employee, I just have to maximize the amount of time I can rest so I can give 100% of myself in these three domains. And something that also comes with the label of being delusional, that would be my fourth advice, is long-term vision over short-term approval. Like I said, it's really easy to give up on your dreams if you have almost everybody around you that's telling you that you shouldn't be doing something, or you have people that mean a lot to you, like your closest friends and your closest family members, that are telling you don't do it, like it's not good, because obviously they have that limiting mindset and they're trying to limit that onto you. But obviously, like sometimes like you really do need that approval, you really do need people that are going to be there for you, and support matters a lot. But sometimes you do have to navigate some new spaces without validation, without that short-term approval, to really, and kind of like investing in your long-term vision, investing in yourself, believing in yourself. And sometimes you're going to be in spaces, sometimes you're going to start projects, and you're going to start goals and start things that you want for yourself, and you're going to be quite literally the only person who believes in yourself. You're literally going to be the only person that believes in yourself, and it's really hard, but you need to choose yourself. In every time you need to choose yourself, and it's sometimes even like you don't need a big group of people to believe you. Sometimes it's going to be that one person who's always been there for you, who always believes in you. And sometimes it feels like, if almost nobody believes in me, is this worth it? And I can speak from experience. Like I was in my first year, around, I don't know which month it was, but I think it was about February, March. I was about to quit track, and I didn't tell anybody about this. I had stopped coming, everything. I was literally gonna give up the sport, hang up my spikes. I hadn't been at the track for over a month. I was done with the team politics and everything that I was going through. It was too much for me, and especially, like I said, entering the sport without any guidance, being new to the sport, and having to navigate this varsity level alone. It was a lot for me mentally, especially that I was already going through my stuff. And I called my brother, and I told him, I said, like, I'm about to quit, and I just need you to tell me if it's a good decision for me to quit. And I'm just gonna go and hang up my spikes, and I'm done with the sport. And it would have taken a yes from my brother for me to just leave the sport. But my brother told me on the phone, and I would never forget this, and he said, if you don't get back on that track tomorrow, I'm gonna be so mad at you. And like I said, sometimes it really takes the encouraging words of somebody else that sees that potential in you, that sees that hard work in you, for you to restore that belief in yourself. And it was hard, but seeing that despite, you know, parents not believing me at all, and a lot of people who just didn't see me or didn't believe me, that my brother still believed in me and still saw how hard I was working and the potential that I had. And best believe with the walk of shame of not showing up for a month, I showed up back to practice. And I kept working, and I told myself that I will never do this to myself again. So sometimes you have to choose that long-term vision. Sometimes it takes one person to put you first for you to really get yourself back in that mindset and put yourself first. And it's hard in the moment. It's never going to be easy, but you're going to thank yourself for that choice down the line. And something else the fifth point, which is honestly like ties in everything, is honestly the boundary with your friends and your family. And sometimes, like I said, with friendships, you're gonna have to realize that some friends, yes, they were your closest friends a couple years ago, but sometimes you're going to get in a space where you're kind of outgrowing a couple people. And sometimes, like I said, you won't realize, but sometimes people may be also outgrowing you. Um, but sometimes you're gonna find yourself in a space where sometimes you can even outgrow family members, and just start kind of being selective with what you tell certain people because of how people can use it against you. And with the amount of things I've gone through in this family, and obviously constantly being put down and discouraged by my parents, there's just a lot of things I don't tell them in terms of my goals or teams I want to go for, in terms of track, in terms of a lot of things, because I've just decided to set that boundary for myself. And setting your boundaries doesn't have to be a loud, very, like, it doesn't have to be a loud process where you're announcing it to everyone. It can be something like a quiet step back where you just decide to do things that are going to be better for you. And for the sake of my mental health, I don't want to hear every single day that I'm not going to make it for this, or I'm not going to make it for that, or that I'm not good enough with certain grades. Like, I'm just not trying to hear that every day. And that's the boundary that I decided to set for myself, because it makes me happier and it makes me feel better. And yeah, like, sometimes you're gonna have to set that boundary with friends, and sometimes you're gonna have to set that boundary with family members. Sometimes you're gonna outgrow people. You guys are gonna start in terms of their interests, or in terms of goals, or in terms of showing up for each other. You're gonna realize that you're over investing in a friend that's just not investing back. And like I said, I've taken this step back from a couple of friends because I just came to realize that I'm just overly investing, and it's extra energy that I can be using to put me first, to invest in my goals, to just for me, you know? So sometimes you just have to protect your time and you have to protect your energy. Sometimes to protect my time, instead of studying at home, I'll study at the library because I know that it will be peaceful, it will be quiet, and it will be a place where I can actually get work done without extra noise and distractions. The sixth point is the protecting your mental health quietly. And honestly, I think this, honestly, I've had to learn that, and it's not even, oh my gosh, I learned to do it and I've been doing it for like the past couple years. No, like, I've learned that the past couple weeks, like the past month, literally, I've learned to do that to protect my mental health. Like, sometimes when I would go through stuff, I felt the need to tell people, like, oh, I'm going through some stuff, you know, I'm just going through some stuff. But I decided to start keeping quiet, you know, to start keeping these things for myself, because not everybody needs to know what you're going through. You know, I've decided that even if I'm going through some things, I'm still gonna shine as a person. I'm still gonna wake up and do little things to make me happy. Do my makeup, make sure I look good. I'm still gonna show up for myself. I'm still gonna go to class. I'm still gonna do things to show up for myself and stop telling people that I'm going through things, because it will just start becoming an excuse for certain things. That's obviously not a choice that everybody wants to make. That's a personal choice that I've decided to make to protect my mental health, not announce that I'm necessarily healing from things, move in more silence, take a step back. Like, for a whole month, well, now I'm announcing it, for a whole month, I was at the bottom of the barrel, the lowest point of this year. I was going through absolutely every single thing you think about. It was bad. It was just at the bottom. But I decided to pick myself up quietly. And sometimes I will confide in a friend, or sometimes, but I just decided to just take a step back and really protect my mental health. Do things, try to build up myself, and do things that are going to make me happy. Do little things that are going to help me in my journey, in my process. You know, because not everybody deserves an update on your life. Not everybody needs to be granted with updates in your life. You know, there's some people who love to listen to what you're going through, or just love to listen to, you know, things that are going through your life or things you're planning to do, but just never talk in return. And that's again about overinvesting in a friendship where it just starts becoming one-sided, and it's when you have to kind of look around and realize, okay, this is not serving me, this is not good for me, so I need to take a step back and distance myself. So my seventh point is honestly the chat. Take my time. Detaching yourself from people's timelines. That's something I am still learning to do every single day. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. You need to start realizing that your timeline is not somebody else's. Somebody's chapter 1 is not going to be your chapter 1. Somebody's chapter 20 is not going to be your chapter 1. Your chapter 20 is not going to be somebody else's chapter 1. You need to stop comparing yourself to other people, and that's something that I've had to learn. Obviously, being so high pressure on myself, trying to be 100% of the time, 100% everything every time, it's easy to fall and slip and compare yourself. Why does this person have this and I don't? Well, how is this person achieving this? Like, first of all, you don't know these people. You don't know the secret struggles people had to go through. You don't know the opportunities they've had access to. You don't know the support some people have had access to. Sometimes you're jumping over hurdles that some people just have never jumped over, and sometimes people are jumping over hurdles that you will never have to jump over. So it's just about focusing on you, focusing on your timeline, focusing on things that are bettering you. One thing for me is for track, the comparison got so bad. Obviously, you can imagine like being new to the sport and starting the sport and obviously comparing yourself to other people, especially who are younger than you and faster than you. If I see a TikTok from track, or if I see something on my sport page, I just click not interested because I know the type of spiral I will go into. Or I stop checking people's times. That's a goal I've set myself August of last year, and I haven't broken that. Like, I just don't check people's time. I'm not interested in knowing people's times anymore. I want to be tunnel vision on myself. So just taking little steps to prioritize yourself, to prioritize your journey, to prioritize your timeline, because comparing yourself to other people also it distracts you from what you're doing. And like I said, people's journeys are not going to be your journeys. You have to trust your own goals. You have to trust your own season. You have to trust in what you believe in. If you believe in a higher power above, if you believe you're spiritual, or if you believe in God, if you're Muslim, whatever the case may be, you need to believe in what you believe in. You need to trust yourself. And the sooner you start, the better it's going to be for you. And that's something that I've started doing, and I feel like being in a new track environment has helped me be so just tunnel vision on myself, and it's been a little much better. Like in terms mentally, in terms of how negative I'm usually to myself, it's just been so much better. It feels like fresh air for me, and I just hope I keep going in that direction. You know, it feels clear. The air feels clear. And the last one, but it's not technically a point because I've technically addressed it all over. When you're going to start having the identity shift, when you're starting to prioritize yourself, you're going to lose friends. You're going to get in conflicts with family members. Like, it's not a peaceful process. Like Malcolm X said, choosing freedom is never going to be peaceful. You're going to have to go to war. Sometimes what you're chasing or what you're going for is something that you deserve. It's a right for you. But you're going to have to go to war with people because people don't have easy access to you anymore. And they don't like that. They don't like the fact that they don't have this access to you. They don't like the fact that they can't reach you. They don't like the fact that they can't depend on you anymore. They don't like the fact that you're dimming. Like, your light is so bright that it's just dimming theirs. They just don't like the fact that you're outgrowing yourself, that you're choosing your worth, that you're finally finding your worth. People just hate that. And you're gonna have to go to war to choose yourself. And you think, I'm choosing myself. Like, this is supposed to be gratifying. This is supposed to be positive. It's not gonna be positive. It's going to be a war zone. You're gonna lose some friends. You're gonna get in conflict with some family members. You're gonna be in times and spaces where you're so lonely and you feel like this is not worth it for you. But this is the process and this is the journey. And this is what you have to go for. Putting myself first has been one of the best things I've done. I prioritize myself first. Like I just feel like it's almost selfish. I prioritize myself first so bad that it's almost selfish, and it almost feels like it's wrong. But I know it's so right, and that I'm doing it. Like little things. Like I could be asked to borrow money, and I would think to myself before and it could be like it wouldn't be from a friend who's in distress, or a friend who needs, no, it would be, for example, like I would be told, like, you never share your money, you never did it. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I'm not being helped financially, barely. Second of all, have I provided for myself all the things that I want to? Have I, is the rest of my tuition paid? Have I checked up on myself? Is there something from me that is missing that I need to go get? It's little things like that. Before I even try to think about letting that label get to me about me being selfish and me not sharing my money, I think to myself, I have had to dig myself out of so many things. And every time, the first thing I think about when people try to put that label on me is do I feel like I'm satisfied with myself? Do I feel like I put myself first before I try to let that label affect me? It has to be, you have to practice yourself to the point where people feel like it's so selfish and entitled. Like you need to practice, because this is the only way you're going to be able to indirectly set those boundaries with people who want to have access to you so bad. People who feel like you've changed and things like that. So it's about choosing yourself and putting yourself first and being there for yourself. Yeah, and it's gonna be a hard process, but I'm just glad that I've learned it, and I keep going, that I'm still alive here today to talk, that little things like that. So yeah, don't forget to put yourself first, and it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. It's not, especially if you're somebody who you feel like you're a people pleaser. You feel like, just making sure this is on. You feel like it's a bit hard for you. You care about people and things like that, and that's important. So I'm not saying cut everybody off, become evil. No, I'm just saying do things that make you happy, and never let somebody dim your light or try to dim your light. Anyways, a sister has to put herself first and has to go shopping. I will be going. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in another lifetime. Also, this is a new nose clip that I got, and I feel like a baddie with it. But anyways, thank you for watching.